I'm not fazed by this at all. Part 2. Welcome to Stargazers. I'm James Albury, director of the Kika Silva Pla Planetarium in Gainesville, Florida.
And I'm Dean Regas, astronomer from the Cincinnati Observatory. You may remember that 2 weeks ago, James asked me a question about what phase the moon would be in if it rose at noon.
Yep, and you got it right, too.
Yes, I did. So, I have a question for you. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, if the moon sets at noon, what phase is it in?
It would be at last quarter.
Excellent.
Thank you. That reminds me of a moon joke.
Well, you can tell it in a moment. Not yet, though.
Yay! So, we'll show you how I answered that question, and we have a really cool Mars moon and Saturn moon scoochie next week as well. Let's show you. When we talked 2 weeks ago about the phases of the moon, we mentioned that it takes about a week for the moon to go from one major phase to the next. For example, if the moon is in the new phase on July 4th, it will be at first quarter on July 12th.
When the moon is at first quarter, it's traveled a quarter of the way around the Earth, and therefore it's 90 degrees east of the sun in the sky. So the moon rises just as the sun is reaching its highest point in the sky at noon.
Then, a week after that, on July 19th, the moon is in its full phase and it's 180 degrees away from the sun in the sky. This means that the moon will rise as the sun sets and it will set as the sun rises. In the days following the full moon, we begin to see less and less of the daytime side of the moon and more of the nighttime side. These are called the waning phases. Waning means to get smaller, and the moon is appearing humped again, so we call this the waning gibbous moon.
On July 26th, it will have been a week since the full moon, which is now 3 weeks after the new moon. The moon has traveled 3/4 of the way around the Earth, so we call this phase last quarter. We again see half of the daylit side and half of the nighttime side, but reversed from what we saw at first quarter on July 12th. The moon is also visible in the early morning instead of the early evening.
In this configuration, the moon is now 270 degrees east of the sun, or less confusingly, 90 degrees west of the sun. So when the sun is at its highest point in the sky at noon, the moon will be setting on the western horizon. Ooh, hey, can I tell my joke yet?
In a minute. Lastly, we have the waning crescent phase. This occurs during the last week of the moon's orbit around the Earth, and we see the daylit side shrink more and more as the days pass.
On August 2nd, 29 days after the beginning of the moon's journey, the moon is back where it started, in a position putting it between the Earth and the sun. The moon is new once again.
All right, with that said, let's check out our planet-moon scoochies. Okay, we have our skies set up for Thursday, July 14th, just after sunset, facing south. You'll see a waxing gibbous moon up to the left of a bright, non-twinkling reddish light. That light is the red planet Mars.
Advancing time 1 day to Friday, July 15th, you'll see the moon snuggled nicely next to the ringed planet Saturn, both of which are above the star Antares, the heart of Scorpius' Scorpion.
So, there you have it. All the phases of the moon for you to enjoy, plus 2 planet-moon scoochies.
Hey Dean, can I tell my joke now?
Go ahead, James.
Okay. How do you know when the moon has gone completely broke?
I don't know. How?
It's down to its last quarter.
Totally worth the wait. Keep looking up.